There's one person that every avoidant regrets leaving, and the way you can find out is watching the avoidant suffer on Love Island. You know that silly TV show where contestants are stuck on an island and have to fall in love to stay in the game? Well, we're gonna play our very own game of Love Island, complete with our very own avoidant, and 5 contestants they left over the years. I want you to listen closely and figure out which one of these contestants is you. First up, we have Willow, a free-spirited traveler who never stays put. Nicole, a warm-hearted nurturer who makes everyone feel seen. Devon, a powerhouse with ambition to match her charm. Maya, a soulful artist with a magnetic intensity. And last, we have Sage, a woman whose quiet confidence draws people in without even trying. Now, any one of these contestants could be the person that the avoidant regrets leaving, but in order to truly find that out, we need to set up the rules of our Love Island. Each day the avoidant spends on Love Island, he must go on a full date with one of the 5 women he previously left. After each date, he's going to record a private confession based on his experience, which of course I'll play for you. At the end of the week, he must choose one woman to speak face to face and live happily ever after. Let's kick things off with contestant number 1, Willow. Willow is a barefoot travel blogger with the sun-streaked hair and the grin that says, "You'll never catch me." She's always chasing the next horizon and never looking back. And I actually think that's why the avoidant is pulled back in. She has this radical independence about her. It tracks that our avoidant is going to be drawn to someone who will never ask for too much and never pressure him. With her, space is built in. An avoidant should theoretically feel safe because she's slippery. But what will their date reveal? The first date takes place on a sailboat just before sunset. Willow shows up barefoot, wind in her hair, wearing a linen dress that looks like it was made for golden hour. The avoidant relaxes almost immediately. She's effortless. No pressure, no probing questions, just a breeze, a drink, and a woman who's clearly not trying to lock him down. They talk about everywhere she's been, Morocco, Paris, Africa, and everywhere she's headed next. He listens, intrigued.
I actually got a one-way ticket to Bali. I leave next week.
It's casual, like she's saying she's out of oat milk. After mentioning this, she starts taking selfies on the boat and asks him to be in the pictures for her Instagram.
Wait, so this is just a vacation fling?
Aren't they all?
All right, let's stop the date right there because I think you kind of get the gist of how the date is going. And I want to play the best part, the avoidance confessional.
I mean, she's hot, obviously, but it's just too much. She's always posting selfies, always traveling. Like, does she ever just sit still and be in the moment? It's like she's performing all the time. I don't even think she needs me. I don't know. It just feels exhausting. I want someone chill, low-key, not someone who's trying to impress the whole freaking world.
Next up is contestant number 2, Nicole. What I personally like about Nicole is that she's calm in a storm. She's a kindergarten teacher with a soft voice and big eyes, and this is crucial for what pulled the avoidant back in. She makes him feel safe, fully accepted for who he is. There's no pressure and no judgment. She just gives comfort without demanding anything in return. Now I want you to watch their date because it's interesting. It begins with a picnic on a beach. Nicole's already there when he arrives. The blanket is laid out, cushions fluffed. There's a blanket beside her that's bursting at the seams. She greets him with the kind of warmth that makes people instinctively exhale. And then she opens the basket. There's his favorite trail mix, the exact iced tea he used to drink after runs, sunscreen and his brand, even electrolyte packets just in case.
I just remembered you always forget to hydrate.
He smiles. It's sweet, thoughtful, almost too thoughtful. They eat, they talk. She listens closely, like she's trying to memorize the parts of him that he doesn't even notice. As the sun starts to set, she starts packing up the basket.
Here, take the leftovers. I know you won't eat later.
Okay, so the date was fine. Nice, even. She's sweet, like really sweet. But somewhere around the moment she reminded me to hydrate, I don't know, man. I hit weird. Like, I came out to grab a drink, not get parented. And then at the end, she's like, hey, take all the leftovers. I know you'll need to eat later. And I'm just standing there holding a to-go box thinking, why do I feel like I just left a parent-teacher conference instead of a date? Look, she's great, but I don't want to my mom.
Okay, let's move on to our third contestant, Devon. Devon is a powerhouse, and she is a COO of a rising tech startup. And even on the island, she chooses to wear her perfectly pressed linen blaze. The Avoidant is drawn to her simply because of how self-sufficient and laser-focused she is on her goals. It's relaxing for him because she clearly doesn't need him emotionally, and it feels so low stakes. Let's see how Devon fares in the date portion. It's day 3, and they're having dinner on a rooftop with a skyline view. Devon arrives exactly on time. No sooner, no later, dressed like she just stepped out of a high-level boardroom and onto the set of a perfume ad. She's sharp, magnetic, and completely composed. The kind of woman who sets her own schedule and expects you to keep up. The conversation starts light. Career moves, travel, startup drama. She laughs easily, but always keeps one hand on her phone. Midway through the appetizer, she taps her screen and clears her throat.
I scheduled a 15-minute window to talk about emotional needs. Thought it would be productive.
You scheduled it?
I'm in back-to-back investor calls tomorrow. This was generous.
He laughs, unsure if she's joking. She isn't. By dessert, she's critiquing his personal growth trajectory like she's been reviewing a quarterly report. She pulls up a self-help book from her bag. Hardcover, tabbed, annotated, and slides it across the table like it's part of his homework.
Devon's impressive. Like, seriously, she's got that I run things energy, which is kind of hot, honestly, at first. She's clearly not looking for anyone to take care of her, which I kind of liked. Low pressure, but then halfway through the dinner, she's like, I scheduled a 15 window to talk about emotional needs. Like, she actually said that. You know, that's when I think it hit me. I don't want to be on someone else's schedule. Not in life, not in dating, especially not in my feelings. I don't care how curated your planner is. If I feel like I have to pencil myself into your day just to exist, I'm already out. Look, she's incredible, but I think she's dating like it's a startup launch. And I'm not trying to hit KPIs in a relationship.
Let's move on to Maya. Maya's electric, a soulful indie musician with haunting eyes and a voice that makes people stop breathing. That's what made the Avoidant fall for her originally. She sees him, or at least it feels that way, and intensity is addictive. There's this chemistry and passion, late night confessions. She makes him feel known, and their date is no different. Day 4 takes them to the beach. A guitar, a fire, a sky full of stars. Maya shows up barefoot, hair wild and eyes that catch every flicker of feeling he tries not to show. There's something about her that makes everything feel deeper. Even the silence has meaning. They play music together. Her voice is soft and raw. He falls into the rhythm, into the way she looks at him like he's the only one who ever understood her lyrics. It's magic. Harmonies, laughter, eye contact that lingers a second too long. Then suddenly, she stops playing. Her face shifts. Something unsaid rises too quickly to swallow.
Don't disappear on me like last time.
I won't.
Maya's, I don't know, she's intense. Like, she makes you feel like you're the only person in the world. That's what pulled me in the first time, that kind of soul level connection. It's addictive, but it's also exhausting. Like, every glance is loaded, every silence has to mean something. I can't breathe in that. And then she hits me with the, don't disappear on me like last time. I mean, come on. We're on a beach playing music, and suddenly I'm being dragged into a sequel I didn't know I signed up for. I don't want anything to do with her. I liked her at first, I really did, but this is too much chaos for me. It's like dating a beautiful panic attack.
Next up is Sage. She's a former therapist turned surf coach. The Avoidant always remembers her with a warm laugh and a strong boundaries. She doesn't try to impress. She's just who she is. And that's really what the Avoidant responded to. She's the perfect mix of emotional availability and autonomy. She doesn't chase and she doesn't flinch at silence. Her confidence puts the Avoidant back at ease. He doesn't feel trapped. He feels respected. Let's cut to their date. The final date is the simplest of them all. Just a walk, 2 coffees, and her. Sage is calm in a way that isn't performative. She doesn't fill silences and doesn't rush the pace. She listens, just to understand. It's the first time all week he hasn't felt the need to perform. They talk about nothing, and somehow it means everything. Midway through the walk, he hesitates and then says it.
I think I might need a little space.
She stops walking and looks at him.
No problem. Take as much time as you need.
She smiles, genuinely, then turns and walks away.
She's so boring.
Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, isn't he supposed to regret leaving one of these women? Well, there's a tiny piece of information that I left out. So far, none of these contestants has done the thing that makes him the one he regrets leaving. We don't actually see that until the big finale. Alright, so the whole Love Island camera crew is set up on the beach. Our avoidant waits for his contestant to show up. The situation is simple. Once they all show up, he'll choose one and ride off into the sunset. One by one, the women enter. Willow first. Now, the interesting thing about Willow is that to the avoidant, she has a fatal flaw. If you remember his confession,
It's just too much. It just feels exhausting.
so too much means she expects emotional presence I don't know how to give. And feels exhausting means she makes me feel exposed, so I push her away before she can see more. Next comes Nicole. She has a fatal flaw too. Using the avoidant's own words,
She's great, but I don't want to my mom.
what he's really saying is her nurturing felt like control. Like she saw me as someone who needed fixing and not as an equal. The care was real, but instead of comfort, it triggered shame. Devon comes next. The avoidant had some fun things to say about her.
I don't want to be on someone else's schedule.
What he's really saying there is her life was so structured and self-contained, there wasn't any room for him to just exist. I felt like a task, not a person. Notice how all these deactivation strategies are different. He's got an excuse for everyone. Maya appears next. Remember the avoidant had to say this about her?
I don't want anything to do with her. I liked her at first, I really did, but this is too much chaos for me.
What he's really saying is the intensity was intoxicating until it started demanding something real from me. Then I panicked. He calls it chaos, but what he's running from is emotional depth he couldn't control. And then there's Sage. Wait, where's Sage? She's gone? There's no goodbye or final date. She just left the show without a word. And that's what hits him. You see, all the other contestants offered him something he once loved. Willow offered freedom, Nicole offered comfort, Devon offered autonomy, and Maya offered intensity. These are the things that avoidants will swear up and down that they want. But Sage offers the one thing none of the others could: the freedom to choose her without needing to chase her. Avoidants are wired to pull away from closeness when it feels overwhelming, but paradoxically, they're most drawn to the person who stops chasing and lets go before they do. My husband has done a lot of great videos on this, like this one, where he looked at over 100 avoidants who came back and tried to figure out what actually worked. What he found is that there's a correlation between someone's ability to let go and the avoidant suddenly realizing that they made a mistake. Why is that? Because letting go removes emotional pressure. It eliminates the threat of enmeshment, and it breaks the old script where they're always the one controlling the closeness through distance. When someone walks away without resentment, it doesn't trigger their defenses, it bypasses them. So what does Sage offer that no one else could? She offers emotional safety without surrendering her power. She lets go without punishment or performance. She walks away in a way that doesn't invite reaction, but it creates a void. But here's the part no one wants to hear. You can't fake being Sage. You have to actually let go. Avoidance can feel when you're still waiting. Sage wasn't, and that's why it worked. Let's get technical here. Have you ever heard of attachment wounding? It's a psychological imprint left when your earliest emotional needs like safety, affection, or consistency weren't reliably met. For avoidance, that usually means love felt intrusive or conditional, so the distance became their protection. And then there's this intermittent reinforcement loop. It's a behavioral pattern where rewards like affection or attention are given unpredictably. Psychologically, this creates the strongest form of attachment because your brain starts obsessing over when the next hit is coming. Put these two together, and you get someone who craves closeness, but only when it's just out of reach. But to name it precisely, it's the pursuer-distancer dynamic. Avoidants are most emotionally activated when someone isn't emotionally available, because the distance feels safe and familiar. When you pull away, you stop being perceived as a threat to their autonomy, and that's when the attraction floods in. There's also this neurobiological angle. Unpredictability creates dopamine spikes. So when someone they once took for granted no longer wants them, the avoidance brain re-engages. Not because they're suddenly ready for intimacy, but because the threat of intimacy is gone. So let's take a look at how this applies to Sage. After their date, Sage clearly wasn't drawn to him anymore, and that's exactly why he started to feel drawn to her. It's avoidance psychology 101. They're wired to deactivate when someone gets close, but the moment that person genuinely lets go, suddenly the threat is gone and the pull comes back. So if you want to be the one they regret, mean the exit. There's one thing that's really been bothering me as I've been making this video. So much of it centers on how the avoidant responds, what they feel, what they regret, and why they're drawn back. And if you're not careful, that can subtly reinforce a toxic idea. You do the work, they get the benefit. You master detachment, you grow, you let go just in the right way so they can finally feel something. But here's the truth. That's not love. That's emotional labor in a one-way relationship. So if you're sitting here thinking, okay, I'll become sage so they regret leaving me, make sure you don't lose yourself trying to wake someone else up. The goal isn't to be remembered. It's to remember yourself. Your life is yours, not your avoidance.